Welcome to a windswept Isle of Man. We're out today in a new camper van for a cup of tea in the afternoon. Look at that for a beautiful backdrop, the harbour, the Isle of Man. There's camper van. So you remember last time we'd not long had her, so we've not been out loads. So I said the next time I'll just show you a couple of practicalities. Practicalities, things like turning the seats around and that kind of thing. So I'll come to that. But the thing with the camper vans is a lot of people buy the vans and they think that they have to kind of go out and spend overnights in them, which is fine obviously, but then they get fed up and beat themselves up if they don't go out. But we tend to use it, once we do go out, we tend to use it for this. You know, park up somewhere in a beautiful spot, have a bite to eat, a cup of tea, just enjoy it. So if you don't go out in it all the time, it's not the end of the world. But the thing is, I'd love a motorhome one day if I had the space on the drive to park it. But the thing with these is you can use them as your day car as well, so they get used every day. Whereas you've got a big motorhome, you tend to not use them as much. It tends to be if you're going out, you know, on a camping expedition. So what we'll do is we'll go in. Fiona can show us how we turn the seat around. So these are fairly similar. The captain's chairs are similar on most of these. Morning, fellow camper.
Morning.
Afternoon even. Would you be as kind to show how we turn the chair around?
Certainly. Adjust the back so it's pretty straight. Then there's a lever.
See if I can come down and show it on this one. Here. There's a lever just in there.
Push that to the right. And then spin round.
Simple as that. Now just a footnote on this, a boring one, unless you had a camper van. We had a camper van, our very first one. Was that Vera?
Yes.
Very first one, Vera. And we got the bench seat put in because our son was young at the time, so we had the 2 bench seat. But the problem was it had bolts and everything you had to do, and it was a bit of a faff trying to turn it around. These are brilliant, they just whip around so you can park up. You spun around and you get to go in seconds.
The passenger seat you can move round without issue, but the driver's seat you need to put the handbrake.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You have to take the handbrake off. And it just takes a bit of getting used to, but it doesn't take long to get used to it. What we'll do, we're going to spark up the kettle in a minute. Let me just, right, anyone else who's got a Westfalia, I'd really love your opinion on this. So when the roof's down, so that oh, crikey, that nearly took the head off. So that all tucks up under there, so that's the roof down. And what happens is, this fabric patch comes across.
And it's on Velcro.
On Velcro, which then comes up onto the plastic here, so obviously...
You can see it there, look.
But the difficulty is, the weight of this keeps collapsing this off.
Yeah.
So there's no studs, it's...
The Velcro's not sticky enough to support the weight of it.
So what we've almost had to improvise and put a rod across here, just to hold the weight up. So we're going to try and get a bigger strip of plastic to try and, you know, make a better use of it. But it just strikes me as everything in Westfalia oozes class, and that just seems to me to be an afterthought, almost like the builders have thought, oh, we're not really sure what to do here, how do we do this? Let's stick a crappy bit of Velcro on there,
And then
which then comes down.
Once the roof's up, we'll show you what we mean. But this bit clips onto the roof that basically you're sleeping in the top and you fall out. However, that actually could work really well to hold all this in.
Yeah.
So it feels like that could have been a really easy dual purpose bit of kit that they've just missed a trick on. But we don't want to go screwing things into the plastic bodywork if there's an alternative.
So if any of the YouTube world out there has any plans or any ideas on that, do let us know. What we'll do, we'll get the roof up, we'll show you that just now if we can. My glamorous assistant.
I prefer to do the roof with the seat turned round when you sat down. I'm not sure what you think on that.
I think because I'm a little bit taller. So these got these kind of standard ratchet straps, I don't know if that's what they're called.
So you basically push the metal bit in to release it, and then that just unclips from here.
Yeah.
And that's that side good to go, and you just need to do the same on the other side.
Do you mind doing the honours and I'll try and show you. Really straightforward.
I'm going to lose my glasses.
Don't lose your glasses. Just remember, I know it sounds really obvious, to put them back in, because I've got friends of ours and they've just got themselves a new van and they forgot to do that. The roof came up when they were going along, which is alright if you're doing 30 mile an hour, but if you go down the motorway, you wouldn't
So
like
that's
it.
it unclipped, and now you just need to push up the centre bit.
And do this with the door open. It took us a little while to realise this, but
Yeah.
you get like the suction or the pressure. So the door's open, the air coming in helps it go up. If you've got the doors and the windows closed, it's really difficult. So do that.
And it's a bit awkward depending on your height.
There you go, straight up. Now the thing with this is we've had a Joker, the Westfalia Joker, and the roof opens up at the back. You get more usable space in the back and there's a toilet, that kind of thing. I like this approach, and I'll tell you for why. We like camping, we like sleeping in the downstairs compartment because it was windy, you can pull the roof down. If it was really rainy, you can pull the roof down. Whereas on the Joker, you had to sleep one person downstairs, which was ideal for us at the time, but he's bigger than me now, so it's no good. And we had to sleep upstairs. But the thing with the sleeping upstairs, you can see now, it's not even that windy, but quite disturbing going to sleep that banging all night. Plus, you know, if you're getting on a bit, not that we're getting on a bit, you've got to climb up. And if you've had a few glasses of wine, if you need to get up for a wee in the night, it's kind of a bit different. That's why we kind of got rid of the Joker to get this one, because we like sleeping in the downstairs compartment. Do you want to show us the fridge, Fiona?
Also got, just a minute, this was our makeshift.
Oh yes.
So
this is our rod.
It's kind of like a metal garden stake. So basically when the roof's down, it helps to evenly distribute the weight.
So Westfalia, if you're watching, get it sorted out. It's really
Picture this. The thing is as well, it looks really smart when it was just on.
Yeah,
When
it does.
this was just on its own, it looked really smart.
So you can see that now. It all looks seamless.
Compared to how it looked before, but we've had to put this, and it's kind of hit or miss whether this works.
But overall, I stress is the build quality on these is off the chart. I mean, look at that cream leather seats, the mechanism for the chairs coming forward, the cabinets. Oh, it's just class. You know, you pay a premium for these things, but they are so good. A chap very kindly commented on my last video as well, and he was saying that the table which is in here, in fact we'll get that out in a moment, the table that was in there was, I think it was the table scratching the rear panel when the door opened. Now fortunately we've not had that. Again, just little things like that which just surprised me that Westfalia are kind of let it slip. So we'll report back on that. I'm going to get the kettle out now, so I'll come back in a second and we can have a cup of tea. Just appreciate this view for a moment. The Arble and stunning Isle of Man. Absolutely beautiful. Back in a minute. Right, we're back. Kettle's about to go on. Just thought I'd show you the table mechanism. Yeah, I sound like I'm down on Westfalia today. I'm not. I'm just kind of showing you the things. There's only 2 or 3 things that have been a bit of a frustration. The table doesn't quite fit in as well, so we had to kind of
Because it rattles.
and occasionally falls out if you're going over a bumpy road, which isn't ideal. So Westfalia, if you're watching this, I'm not being critical. I love your vans. Just a couple of refinements you need to do. This is a table going up. And don't forget, guys, this is a long wheelbase, so you get an extra, I think it's 5.4 metres as opposed to 4.99, something like that. You can Google the technical specifications, but you do get a little bit more room in these. Slightly different layout than the Joker, because in the Joker the kitchen was kind of there on the left hand side and you had a toilet, a fixed toilet at the back, and we were worried that not having a toilet would be a major issue, but we've just got a little porta potty. And to be honest with you, without being too crude, you tend to just go for a whittle anyway in them, so you know they're ideal and you just empty them out when you're on the sites. Obviously this is standard in a lot, the gas burner and the tap. Oh, with the tap there's a it's not interesting at all, I'm actually boring myself saying it, but what happens is pressure builds up in the system when you've got the pump on. Fiona, do you mind pointing to the pump? So that's the water pump up there.
So this is basically switching on all the electrics and everything, and this is the first van we've had where you've had to switch this on for the tap to work.
Yeah.
Previous vans you've just been able to open the tap and the water comes out, but this one's attached to the pump. And you need to make sure that you've actually switched on the water button, which allows the water to come through.
But what happens is that becomes pressurised, obviously. So what happens is when you've had your cup of tea, you park up and go, you'll turn the pump off, but there's still a pressure in the tap. So you'll be driving along and then the tap just pops off and water will spew.
This bit here actually popped right out, and also this bit popped off as well, I think.
Give you a bit of a fright when you're doing 70 miles an hour. So all you need to do, Fiona, just show you just need to quickly open the tap.
So, well, it's not going to work at the minute, but anyway. So the other thing is this.
Just sore finger, by the way. Fiona's got a sore finger.
A sewing related incident, but we won't talk about it. So basically this needs to, it goes on an angle and tips down so you can shut the lid. So you just lift it back up, but you need to hold it, you need to squeeze it before you turn it so it's facing the right way. If you don't do that, this bit pops off. So if we just run the tap, let's actually fill the kettle instead of wasting the water.
Good point. So when you just quickly, before you go, open the tap, and that relieves all the pressure, and you won't be driving along and it pops off.
Right, so.
See, this is what the van, I said when I was outside a moment ago, the van is brilliant for sleeping over if you want to, but it's just things like this popping out for a cup of tea when you'd be sat at home. I mean, just look at these views.
Right, so let's get the kettle on in a minute.
My favourite words. We've got no biscuits though, unfortunately.
I know, we've got no biscuits. It's a bit impromptu. Right, so if we were packing up to go, you need to, and again, we didn't need to do this in any other van, so we kind of learnt this by living it, didn't we?
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you've switched the electrics off, or at least switched the water off, if not all of it. And then, as James has just said, there's still water trapped in the pipes.
Pressure.
So you need to just run the tap till all the water is out.
So you see there's quite a bit there, so when we were driving along, all that came out whilst we were driving.
And the pressure built up and this little bit here popped off.
Yeah.
And then that all clatters into the sink and you get a fright when you're going down the road.
So there you go.
So that's the
useful tips.
Sink update. Right. I'll need to leave that up. You need to leave both lids up when you've got the hob on as well.
We'll show you the gas and that in another video. Gas lasts for ages. We've had the van for a few months now, and in typical fashion, the gas is probably, no, it's not, there we go. Gas seems to last ages in these things. So come back when I have a cup of tea in a minute.
Do you want me to
Just
record
kidding.
it? You don't need to be in it. Or do you want to be in it?
There we go.
You're still all right. Okay, so James is going to get the tea stuff out because with the table up, it's harder to reach the cup. So really what you should do is you need to think ahead. You need to plan ahead. Men don't do that. So women would already have thought, actually I need to get all that stuff out before I put the table up. And then it would be all organised.
Alienated 50% of your audience in that one statement. These are the closing as well, so they're really quality kind of metal fastening, so it's a really good quality cabinets.
Right, is it just me having a cup of tea?
There's only one cup.
Guess why? We left them in the house. We're sharing a cup of tea.
I'll drink mine out of the kettle. So there we go, they're the cabinets. I'll show you around those again next time. So we'll come back, we're having a cup of tea in a minute. Right, we're back. That's a cup of tea. Kettle boiled. One of those whistling kettles.
We had a slight situation because we only had one cup. So we're sharing.
And more importantly than that,
no biscuits.
Got no biscuits. I'm absolutely devastated. Oh, look at that. We've got a tractor as well. You can see the tractor. Look at that for a scenic view. Right, so anyway, in the comments, let me know if you've got a Westfalia, you've got that problem up here. If so, please tell me how you fixed it. Very annoying. Oh, I was getting, cause I thought it was a biscuit tin getting open then, but it's not. Fiona's going to do some sewing. What are you working on?
I've got first dibs on the tea because I prefer my tea really hot and James can drink his lukewarm. So I'm having the first half and he's having the second half. And this is what I'm making. So these are called Manx log cabin squares, and I am going to sew them all together and make them into a king size quilt for the bed. So that's the one. So this is me on the last home stretch of them. I think I've got 4 to make, and then it's on the finishing stages.
That's how the finger ended up like that, the crafting related injury.
Yeah.
But by way of an office,
There's worse places to work, isn't there?
there really is worse places to work. But yeah, we don't have people watch these guys, so if you do watch them, drop us a comment, just to say hello. Let us know it's worthwhile continuing. If you've got any questions, you want us to do anything steady,
or you can help us.
You can help us with any tips or tricks, do let us know. The Isle of Man, guys, if you've never been, get it on your to-do list. Or Westfalia. Right, over and out, guys. We will be back again soon. Drop us a comment, say hello, something. We'll be back with 2 cups and biscuits next time.
Maybe that could be the title.
What? Plonkers on tour?
2 cups. 2 cups and a something or other.
Thanks for that. We'll think about that. Right, folks. Adios.